Okay. Okay. How do you practice JavaScript? Let me show you one way. Let's see JavaScript online editor, online editor, right? Okay. Let's see JavaScript online compiler. Start coding. Let's say. Okay. Yeah, JavaScript. I want to write JavaScript. Great. So again, okay. What we are learning here, right? If I have to work on JavaScript, right? I'm just trying to understand like where should I write my code. I'm showing you one of the ways. We not use, we will use everything, Ashwin. Don't worry. I'm just telling you a lot of options here, right? Like what are the different options which people can work on JavaScript, right? Okay, let me tell you just to clear the doubts. You should not feel that Akhil will be teaching on this site. No, we will be using Visual Studio Code as a code editor. Okay, we would be working. I have a Windows machine, so I'll be using that machine to set up everything. We will be installing Node.js. We would be installing the code editor and working on JavaScript first, right, on that editor, and we'll be using the Node, right, to run our scripts. That is how we are going to work on a normally basis, right, on the JavaScript part, right. But before working on all of that, right, I want you to realize that there are other ways, right, to work also, right. So just that part, right. Don't feel like that Akhil is going to teach on this part. Okay, let's remove this. So this is okay, index.html. So this is like a okay, this is like a front end application. So index.html, right? So let's say console. Okay, so does anyone know like what do we write if we have to print something on the console in Java? What do we write over there? System.out.println, right? I hope, right?
Yes.
Everyone agrees, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So what do if we have to print something on the console, right? In JavaScript, we write console.log. Okay. Again, right? I'm not if don't consider again whatever I'm telling you right now, right? These are like bits and pieces, right? Okay. Everything will get connected, and but you will have to be patient. Okay. So please bear with me. But again, coming back to the point, if I want to print something on the console, I have to use this console.log. Let me write Khilgen. You see, this is the console box, right, in the below. And when I printed this, right, this got printed here, right? Yeah, yeah. And then I think you Mac machine, right? You can have VS Code. I use Mac machines in my office things, so I'm using VS Code only. Okay, so it should not be an issue, right? So again, you can see this is one way of writing it, right? Let me create a function. Let me create a function. Will it not be allowed? Hello world. Hello world. Let's say name. I will say console.log hello plus name and this, and we'll call hello world. Okay, let me remove this part. Okay, I hope, right, everyone remembers. I think most of you, right, or almost every one of you is coming from Java background only, so you understand that whatever I'm writing here, right, will not even run in Java, right, the way I'm writing it here. But you can see, right, what I did was I created a function, right, and I'm just calling that function. Okay, I'm just calling that function, and it is working, right. You can see the output. Hello, Akhil is coming here. In Java, even if you have to write a single thing of line, right, and if you want it to work, you have to write everything in classes, right. I did not create a class here. It's all functions. I hope you're recognizing this part, right? Agree, everyone?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. If you understand this part, right, also understand that JavaScript, right, is majorly working on functions only, right. There is nothing like classes here at the root level of it. We have classes as a module. We'll talk about it, right? But try to understand everything behind the hood, right? Always works like a function. Okay, I will elaborate it further, right? And you will understand this eventually. But just keep taking these notes, right? Keep understanding this part. Okay, and this is what I ran, right? And this is like I have used a site called Playcode, and I'm writing my script. I created a function and I'm running it, right? One more thing to notice here, right? If you create a function or a method in Java, right, You also, this is, I am giving a variable name here, right? What is the data type here? I have not given any data type, right? You can see. Generally, if you have to write in Java, right? You write what? You write string and then give a name, right? You write something like this. You say string and then you give the variable name here, right? And that is how you run it. Okay, I will answer that part, right? I'm coming to that part, Kiran. Okay, just give me one more thing time. Let me just cover a couple of things. Okay. Kiran is asking like, does JavaScript has any relation with Java? It has a very unique relation actually. I'll tell you, right, what is the relationship is. Okay, right. But again, coming back to my point, you can see this function here over here, right? We are not providing any data types. Okay, I'm not providing data types. I'm just giving a variable name, and today I'm providing Akhil. Tomorrow I can provide digits. You can see it is happy to take it, right? It is happy to take it. Can I give the names here? Akhil, let's say Amrendra, let's say Kiran. You see here, if you're noticing the point here, right? Since I'm not defining what kind of data it can accept, it is accepting everything, right? It accepted string, it accepted numbers, it accepted arrays, right? Even if I provide objects, it will accept it. Let me try. This is how you create an array here, right? If you create the object, okay, let me try. Name. Okay. Here it says object. Leave it as of now, right? But again, the point here is whatever you provide. Okay, I'm saying name, so maybe it might create an issue. Let's say first name, right? Right? It is, I am able to pass on this information. It is not throwing an error, right? It is not throwing an error. In Java, if you would have provided, if you would have defined a data type, right, and you specify or you input something else which is not, which cannot be converted to data type, it would have thrown an error, right? It would have thrown the error at the compile time. Nothing is happening here, right? You can provide anything which you feel like, right? And it is not complaining. Okay, just for the notice, just notice this, right? There's nothing to understand as of now. Just notice this behavior. Okay, this is one online editor which I use. But what I'm saying is you do not need this editor also. You need one browser. I have this browser, right? Chrome browser. You can use any browser you feel like, Chrome, Firefox, IE, and all that. I mean, IE also. You need to open one very powerful tool here, which is called Developer Tools. Open this up, okay, and go to the console tab. Okay, most of the people, right, who are coming from Java side and who are part of the bootcamp, I have explained very thoroughly in those videos about the console tabs, right, and how to use all of this, right, and I've shown like how can you use it to run some scripts. So I'll use the same part here, right? Now let me use JavaScript, right? If you want to practice JavaScript, and let's say you do not have any editor or something, right? Just open a browser, go to the developer tools, open the console, and now let's create the same program here. Now see, right, what I will do, I will create let is how you define uh like you define a variable, right? You're declaring a variable. So you say let's say you will say name equals to okay. Oh sorry, name equals to okay, right? And I did this. If you see, right, once you press enter, it leaves that control and now you're on to the next line, right? Now let's say I want to print this. I'll say console.log name. If you see, right, it is printing Achille, right? Again, this is all JavaScript. This is all JavaScript. Okay. Now the same function, right, which I wrote over there. Let me create it again. Function. Let's say hello pot test. Okay. And let me say a name. Okay, name, and I will say console.log. Okay, JS hello. hello, and we'll give a name here. Okay. Okay. One more thing to notice, right? This semicolon part, whether I add it or I don't add it, right? I'm not adding it right now, right? Earlier I was adding, right? I'm not adding. I create a function, right? I just create a function. I want to call it hello pod test, and I'll just say, let's say Kiran. You can see, right? It is saying JS hello Kiran. What did it do? Here I am defining a function, and here I'm calling the function. I'm providing a value Kiran. The Kiran was passed to the name, and it was replaced with this, and it said JS hello Kiran, right? Okay. Okay, great. So again, my motive of telling you all this is to tell you like what are the different places where you can practice JavaScript. I told you one is the online editor like this. You can open it up, right? Right. Second is like you can open your browser itself. So you do not even need a internet connection for this. For this, you would require internet connection, right? But for this, it can work. It does not require internet connection, right? Why? Okay, I'll answer that query also, right? I'll answer that question also. But there is one more place where you can write. If you notice here, right, you are writing a single line and then you have to enter and it breaks that flow, right? It is not like a file. It is like a command prompt kind of a thing, right? You are adding and it moves to the next line. If you want to work with like a script you want to create, right, using this developer tool of browser, you can go to the sources like this, right? And here, right, you have to select snippets. Okay, select snippet here. You can create a new snippet. Let me give it a name. Let's say practice.js. Okay, any name which you feel like. Okay, practice.js. Let me close other ones. Again, the same stuff, right? Let me write let name. I'm not providing any value. You can see, right? It's like a file. Let name. This time, what I will do is I will do what I will say a function again. Hello world name. Okay, name and let me just say first name here. Again, use the same kind of nomenclature, right, which we have used for Java. I will again redefine that part, but who are already familiar, please use that nomenclature only, right, to give the function name, methods names, and the variable names and all that. Okay, name here, right, and again I will do console.log and hello and name here, right. Let's do this. And what I will do is I will now do what I will say first name. I'm now initializing the value of the first name. First name equals to, let's say, Akhil Jain, and then I will call hello world, and I will call with the first name. Okay. Now this is my a, a script being created in JavaScript, right? And this is the file name for it, right? So let me save this. Okay, I'll save this. If you want to run it, right, just go over there, right click on it, and run. Let me clean this actually. Okay, I've cleaned this up. So there is nothing. You can see there, it has also opened the console bar only, right? The same console bar which was opened up here, right? So it is opening up here also for us. So whatever it will print, right, everything will be printed here only. So you can go there in the practice, right click on it and run. You can see, right, hello Akhiljan, right? The same stuff here. I have to give a space. If I run it again, run, right? Hello Akhiljan. Okay. If you want to debug, right, then that can also be possible here, right? Through this. So in a way, right, if you are practicing your JavaScript skills thing, right, you do not need any editor also. You need just a browser, that too with no connection, right? With no internet connection, and you can just start working on it. Okay, right? But again, this is not what we are going to use. Okay, but I want you to be aware, like your browser is so powerful that it gets you all these features inbuilt, right? Okay, one thing I would like to ask you, since you saw this, right, can you tell me like why there would be an option to run JavaScript in the browsers? What is the use of JS? What is the relationship of JavaScript with the browsers part? Does anyone know?
And alerts, JavaScript alerts.
Okay. Okay.
Mainly it's
Uh,
the front end part.
Sorry,
It's for
what content part?
it's like for developing web application
I
front end.
I think the browser being a thin client, it has a capabilities to process some code, and that's the reason JavaScript is we are able to execute some JavaScript snippets, or rather say it provides a support.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. 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 Okay.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
Every
again.
so
browser
I
has
think
a JavaScript engine inbuilt, so that enables you to run the JavaScript script on the browser.
And why does browser has a JavaScript engine? Why would
that
browser need
that
a? Yeah, please come.
web, that web pages have to interact with the browser.
yeah, JavaScript can directly access to the DOM, the entire
Right.
HTML DOM.
Okay. Absolutely correct. Right. Now, again, combining all the inputs together, I think we have the answer now. Okay. So let me now tell you one thing. Again, I have talked about this very detailed in the automation. I mean, in the Java classes. But let me just tell you here also. Everyone, right? Each one of us should understand this part because we are here trying to automate a web application, right? This is the whole intent around it. This bootcamp is about this only, right? We are not talking about APIs, we are not talking about mobiles, we are talking about the web automation, right? And using all these three tools, right? And all that. So we should understand this part very thoroughly. What happens here is if you okay, there is a very this is the uh, equation, right, which I give to everyone. So let's say if you're looking if you're looking at a website, right? Let me open any website. Let me say my website, right? For test. You see this website here, right? Podtest.in, and you see all these things here, right? What do you think the I would have used as a tech stack to build this up? Okay, by the way, I created this myself, right? This website. So do you think like what are the things which I would have used to create this website? Any inputs, right? Anyone?
Yeah, JavaScript, CSS element,
Great. JavaScript,
and
CSS,
HTML.
HTML, right? And this is how the mathematical equation is about to create a good UI, right? So this is what it. So there are three ingredients, right? Basic ingredients to create a UI application. You need JavaScript, you need CSS, you need HTML. Okay? HTML is like your skeleton of the page. It creates the component, right? Different components. It just creates out a layout. Okay. Like think it like a human skeleton, right? A human skeleton which does not have any clothes on it, right? Any skin on it, right? It's just a skeleton, right? It does not look good. So again, if you're talking about UI, it has to look good, right? So having a skeleton gives you a structure, right? But it's not a good thing, right? To which someone would come it and try to look in, right? So what we came with CSS. CSS is like your styling part, right? It adds styling to your application, right? Now what happens here is like in terms of our example, consider CSS like this is first of all for the styling part, right? The coloring, styling, and all that, right? If I take the example of the human skeleton, these are like skin and the clothes part, right? On that skeleton. So now the human is now looking good, okay? So this is now okay, but but currently that human being, right, is not moving. It does not have a life, right? It is dead, right? It is an but once you add JS to it, right, it becomes live. JS helps you to add actions, right, to your UI application, right? If you want to click on a button, right, and you want your application to react, right, you want this to respond, right? All of this happens due to this JavaScript only, right? So try to understand what is the purpose of the browser. Browser purpose is to render your UI application, right? And to render your UI applications and to work with it, the UI application is highly dependent on the JavaScript code. Okay. Now what happens here is like since JavaScript code is required, right? Your browser should be intelligent enough to understand the code which will be executed, right? once someone's interact with the UI. How will the Chrome browser or any browser be able to understand it until unless it has something which can understand this? So what happens here is every browser, every modern browser, right, has a JavaScript engine inside it. And I think in case of Google, we have an engine called V8. Okay. So because of this JavaScript engine sitting inside the browser itself, right? And that's why browsers are so heavy, right? It has a JavaScript engine inside this. Okay. And whenever you render a website, right? Whenever you render a website, let's say you hit the URL of, let's say, facebook.com, right? What do you think happens? When you hit a website called facebook. Right? What happens is there is a server sitting somewhere, right? In US, let's say, right? There's a server sitting in the US. What happens is this is your laptop, right? This is your laptop from where you're firing the command, and you are sitting in India. You hit the endpoint of it, facebook.com. It went to the DNS. It went to the DNS, found the IP address of it, and then it rerouted the traffic to this server, right? It found the server on the net, right? Once the server was found, right? Server got to know, okay, someone is looking for the content of this website. So let me do what? Let me send them three things. What they will send is, they will send HTML file, they will separately send the CSS files, and they will send the JS files. All three files will be sent separately, right? Or let's as a package. Everything will be received in the browser, in the Chrome browser, right? Your browser understands HTML, right? Because again, it's a browser, right? It understands this. It understands CSS and JavaScript, right? For making sure that JavaScript works, it has a JS engine inside this, right? And now everything works fine on your browser. Let me show you this. I won't see by doing all this, right? I'm just trying to portray the importance of JavaScript here, right? And how this has become so popular, right? See here, every application you work with, right, is working with JavaScript. Okay, web application. And now our job as an automation engineer is to automate this application, right? So it is very important for us to understand HTML, to understand CSS, how it works, and to understand how JavaScript works. Okay, JavaScript part will cover as part of our part here, right? So it will make a lot of sense to you. But let me just show you one thing, and then I will come back to the question which Kiran was asking about JavaScript and Java thing, right? Okay, so where are we? I wanted to open developer tools here. More tools, developer tools, yes. And let me open the network tab. Okay, so console tab, element tab, yeah. Let me just put it here. And I wanted to see one more thing: network sources. We close this, and I want to say the page. And let me just bring it here. You see currently, right? We see all this. Now let me hit the Facebook. Facebook. Okay. If you see this, right? This is, you see this UI, right, of the Facebook opened up, right? How do you think, right? How the browser knows that I should show this kind of UI on the browser? Once the request was fired, right? Okay, I don't know like where that request would have gone. Let's not go into the API. I don't want to go there. If you see this, right, facebook.com, there is a domain here, right? Facebook, this one and this one. Let's see. Manifest file. This is one thing. I'm not sure whether they will be showing it or not, or I can show it for my website at least. I'm not an expert on front end, so I'll not take a chance here. I'll show it on my website also, right? Just a second. Podcast.in, right? If you see this, right, I've hit my website. If you see everything, right, which my website is using, right, index.html file, right? This is my HTML code. If you see, this is the HTML code which I have, and you can see the same code over here, right? The HTML file. Okay, the HTML code. So all of this, the HTML code is seen here, right? Okay, great. Now, if you see about the, you see here CSS. So everything regarding CSS, right, is it would be here, or there are a lot of files here. Let me open it up, right? You can see all the CSS, right, being mentioned here, right? So your browser needs the CSS and HTML to render the page, but it also needs this JS also, right? So this is where your scripts are sitting, and see how many scripts are there, right? Combining all them together, right, you get a website like this. My website is based on React. I created this website using React, and again, right, I'm not going to discuss React here, but just I just want you to understand whatever framework I use, right, on the front end also. Again, similarly for you in your workplace also, right? If you are using AngularJS, React, Vue, Next.js, right? Anything you're using, right? Ultimately, whatever framework you use, they will all boil down to three components: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. And JavaScript is the portion which makes things, which puts life into that thing, right? That is how I will explain this. Okay, and I hope it is making some sense to you now. Okay, and this is very important for us, right? Because sometimes, we will see in JavaScript, but in the case of Java, right, there were a lot of places, right, where there was a need to work with JavaScript, right, to do our operations with the browser, and we have done that using JavaScript executor, right? Why it worked? Because that is how things works, right? On the browser, you can use JavaScript to run things on the browser. Okay, again, whoever has access to those things, right, this is the module. Let me tell you, where is that folder, right? Web automation, right? This folder over here, right? I have explained this in depth, how JavaScript, XPath, HTML DOM, and all that, right, works. So I will give this access to everyone also, right, coming from JavaScript also. So please see it yourself, right, if you're interested to get into more depth about it. Okay. Okay, one last thing for today. We coming back to the question, or not last thing, sorry. There are two things which I wanted to cover, but let me first answer the query which Kiran was asking. What is the relationship of Java with JavaScript? There is a very unique relationship, and the relationship is this: 4 letters, Java and Java, and this is the only relationship it has, nothing apart from it. Okay. Java, I don't know. I don't remember when Java was introduced. Java, I think, came in 80s, I believe, or 90s. I don't know, right? JavaScript came in the year 1995. Okay. And again, the purpose of, okay, see, it's not that, okay, why JavaScript came into existence? JavaScript came into existence because before 1995, right, all the websites which you had, right, were all static websites. So what you could only have is, like, you could say, okay, my website is looking like this. It will have an image, it will have this text, and that's it. If I want to interact with the application, let's say I want to click on this page, I want to click on the link like add to cart. I could not do that because there was no such behavior which I could introduce in the application there at that point of time. But when JavaScript came to the picture, it changed the dynamics. Now your website started behaving, right, moving from static to a dynamic website. You could interact with the website and the website could respond back, right? And this was all possible through JavaScript. Now, when this came, right, again, like anything else, right, so it was it's like a new language, right? And to gain popularity among the audience, right, what the developers did was they said, okay, we will use the term of Java here, right, because Java was very popular at that point of time, right? It is even today, right? But what they did was they used that Java name over there. Okay, Harika is on not mute. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the relationship between Java and JavaScript is no. There is no relationship inside this, right, between them. The only relationship which the developers or the founders of JavaScript decided to do at that point of time is they wanted to make use of the name of Java, right, to make their language as popular as Java. Okay, that was the only mindset over there at that point of time, and that's it, right? Otherwise, the way JavaScript and Java work are totally two different domains. They have no relationship in which they work, right? Okay, so it is whole together all kind of a new world over here, right? Okay, I hope, Kiran, you got your answer, right? There is no relationship here. Okay, great. Okay, now for us, right, I just wanted to cover the setup part today, right? That if we have to work on JavaScript on our machines, what we require. So let's start doing that. What the first thing which we require is, okay, we will come back, right, why it is required, but let's just install it, right? So the first thing which you will require is a Node.js. Okay, it's like a runtime environment. Consider it like this, right? If you have, okay, tell me one thing. If you have to run Java on your machine, what do you need?
JVM.
JDK.
JDK.
JDK. JDK, right? You need JDK. And what does JDK stand? Java Development Kit, right? So JDK has JRE within it. It has JVM within it, right? So Java Development Kit is like if someone is interested in creating an application on Java, they need JDK, right? Now, again, similarly, if you have to work with JavaScript, right, and want to build an application using JavaScript, right, on your machine, right, on your desktop, so you need a runtime environment, right, which can help you to do all of that. So what is the option here? The name is called as Node.js. Okay, so try to draw a similarity between JDK and Node.js. So JDK is used to develop things on Java and run them on Java, right, on your machine. Similarly, for JavaScript, you will need Node.js. You can create scripts using Node.js, right? You need to have this installed first, and then you can work on JavaScript on your Windows machine, right, or any other machine, right? Again, but let's say you don't have, let's say currently I do not have Node.js, right? I do not have, but let's say, and I don't want to I don't have the intention to work with Node.js. So the only option or the free option which I have with me is, I should not say free, but I would say like the less hassle. I mean, the most available solution is open a browser and start working on the snippet part, and you can create your code over there, right? People do that, but again, we have the required space on our machine, so it is okay with us to install Node.js and work on it, and that is how people work in the industry. Okay, so let's install Node.js now. Node.js download. Okay, so this is the website for Node.js. Just go over there. Okay, again, with any software you use, right, always try to install the long-term support versions. Okay, so this is the long-term support version v22.11.0, which is currently available for Node.js, and we will use the same. It is on Windows, but I don't want to do it through this. I want to install it through pre-built installer. Download this one, right? So I'll use this one. What are these? These are binaries. These are source code. No, these installer part, right? So I'll just go there, click on it. It will start downloading. Oh, it got downloaded. Okay, it's 30 MB, right? Okay, it got downloaded. Let me open it up. Right, and I will just double click on it. Okay, welcome to the Node.js setup wizard. So I think it should be a very straightforward one, except next. Okay, let it be here. Node.js runtime. I don't want to change anything, so let it be here. Some npm nodes need to be compiled from. Okay, if you want to be able to install such modules, some tools need to be installed. Automatically install the necessary tools. Okay, yeah, I'll use this one, and it will install. Okay, in the meanwhile it gets installed, right? This will allow you to write your JavaScript code, right, and make it work without using a browser, right? So you can open up any text format file and work on it, right? You can work on it. So this is what it makes it I mean, it makes that possible, right? The second thing which we need is like, okay, where will you write the code? Till now we were using a browser, opening it up and using the snippet, right? So, but we are not going to use browser now, right? We want to use Node.js, and we need a editor or something, right, where we can write the code. One of the option you still have is you can open a notepad and write code over there. Let me show you. What I can do is okay, so we have Node.js. First of all, let's just check our Node.js got installed. So this is installed here, right? Just to make sure that it got installed, what I'll do is, okay, tools for Node.js native installation. This script will install Python and the Visual Studio build tools necessary to compile Node.js. This will require about 3 GB of hard disk space. Please close all programs for additional information. Okay, let me just install this. The script is provided, and okay, it will install something. Let it be. Okay. It is required. It is trying to download some of the the interdependent softwares and the packages, right? So let it do its all work, and to do all of this. So Node.js is not set up currently. It is doing all that right now. Python is not installed. You can see it is saying it will install Python also. Okay. Chocolatey, fine. Okay.
Okay, sir. I don't think we need like additional packages for installation while installing.
Harsh, you are saying something to me? Your voice is not clear. You were saying something.
Okay, I'm saying like I don't think we need to check that checkbox while installing. Like it installs all like Python, job
Okay.
quality, and I think that this will be needed.
No, I think we require actually. I have faced some issues right in the past if I don't do that, and ultimately, what happens is whatever code, right, especially in the project format, right. When you're working on a silos files, then it's a different thing. But when you're working with a project, right, some of the dependencies are coming from Python and all that, right. So there you start facing the issues, and it's better to install the things which the tool needs, right, until unless it is spam. So I'm sure it is not. There is no spam over here, so I'm okay to install this because after once I'll be working on it, right, it will help me. I mean, not making me stuck somewhere else, right, while I'm working on it. But again, right, if someone is okay without using it, please do that. Okay, so Anand was asking something, right? Anand, you're saying I installed Node.js, didn't see all of this happening. Hope I'm doing it right. Yeah, yeah. See, again, right? Mac is a different OS, Windows is a different OS. So you just need to make sure that once your things are done, right, open a command prompt. Open a command prompt and just type node -v just to make sure that things are installed. In my case, it is not installed or it is getting installed, right? But you should see a response after this, right? And a version of it. If you see it, you have 23, right? Okay, but you are using 23 version, right? Okay, you can see, right? But I can tell you, right? 22 is the long-term support version, Kiran. So again, there is no harm in using the short-term support version like 23 over here. But I would still encourage to please stick with the long-term support version with all the tools you work with. Okay, right?
Audible? Okay.
So, yeah, Kiran, you're audible. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I just used the homebrew command to install Node and it gave me the 23 version.
Okay. It did what version 23 one, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Again, right. See, when you're using homebrew also, right? I think there's an option where you can specify like what
Mhm.
version of software you need. So
Mhm.
if you have not given it, would have taken the latest one.
Yeah, I'll try to go to
But
22.
see, what I'm saying is there is no harm in using it, right? But I'm
Mhm.
just saying generally, right? So don't. There is no need to uninstall and install it again. 23 is also fine, right? So there is no issue on all this. So we are good with that. Okay.
Yes.
I'm just saying generally, right, that when you work with any software, let's say JDK or something, right, try to
Mhm.
make sure that you're using a long-term support version because
Yeah.
because short-term support versions has a very small life, like 6 months or something around it. So once that time period goes away, right, there is no support for it, and you might see some issues coming up over there.
Yeah.
Pratibha, I would again, right, Pratibha, there is no issue, right? If you, I think if you are above version number 18, right, in Node.js, we are fine. Okay, so there is no issue. There is no need for anyone to uninstall and install it again. Since I am doing it very fresh, I installed everything and installing it again, so it worked that way. Okay. Okay. So okay, I think it might take some more time. Let it be. In the meanwhile, right, what I'll do is let's talk about the editor, right? I told you, right, what you can do is you can open a notepad. Let me open a notepad. If I want to add something, right? If I want to a notepad. Okay. So let's say I wanted to write a code, right? So I have an option on Notepad also. I can write it the code here also, right? The same thing. I can say let name equals to Akhil, and then I can say console dot log, and I can say I will say name here, right? Let's say this, and I can save this file, save as, let's say, name.js, right? I'll save it on the desktop, and I will call it as name.js, and I think I can call it as all file or something, all types. So yeah, this is saved as name.js, right? Name.js. Okay, I don't know what is happening here, but I'll leave it aside. I think my node is working, so there is no harm in it. Okay, so this is where my file is, right? This one, right? Name, this file is here. What I'll do is, this is my desktop, right? Let me just copy this Control X. Let's place it somewhere. I'll go to my full stack folder. Okay. Okay, now my system is hanged. Okay. No, it is working now. Where is the JavaScript part? JavaScript, right? So here we have, let me just paste it here, right? I paste it file. Let me open the command prompt from here, cmd, right? And I can do what? I can say node, and I can say, since I've installed Node.js, right? I have to say node here, and I can say name here, right? Name.js. If I run this, you can see it got executed, and it ran console.log name, right? And it printed a kill. So again, right? How you can write this script? You can open a editor, you can open a notepad, you can open a text file, and write all your code here, right? And you will still be able to do it. But how things are running because of Node, right? That Node.js environment. But again, this is not the convenient way of writing the code. So what you need is, you need to have an editor which can help you in auto completing things, right? Which can help you to synchronize into a folder and work on it, right? So for doing that, we will use one of the popular ones, which is used everywhere in the industry, and the name is Visual Studio Code. Okay, mind you, it's a code editor, right? It's a code editor. It is not a IDE, right? There's a difference between IDE and the code editor. We'll talk about it maybe tomorrow, not today. But let's just install this. So this is the Visual Studio Code. Download, and this is Windows 11 user installer, system installer. Let's use this one. Thanks for downloading VS Code. It is getting installed. Okay, this is using ARM one. I don't need the ARM one. I should have used 64 one, right? X64. ARM is for if you have an Intel processor, right? I think ARM will not work. This X64 will work. So I have an Intel processor, so I'll use this one. If you have AMD processor, right? I think then this will work. So let me open it up and start this. Run. we'll just set this up and we would be good for today. February 20. I accept the agreement. Yes. Visual Studio Code. It needs 384 of MB of free space. No worries. Let's start. Next. Select additional tasks. Which additional task will be performed? Select additional tasks that you would like to set up to perform while doing this. Okay, yeah, I need a create desktop icon. I need add open with code option to learn. Register code as an editor for supported file types. Add to path. Yes. So next, click next to continue. Destination, location, and all this. Yes. Install. Preparing is install. Setup is preparing. Okay, fine. Checking files. Okay. And this is the last thing, right, which you're doing for today. And from tomorrow, I will also set the agenda for this week, what all topics we are going to cover, and we'll follow that part. Okay. Let me just complete this. Okay. I'm also a person, right, coming from like who has worked on different languages like Java, JavaScript, VB TypeScript. What else I've used? I think when it comes to creating a macros in Excel, right, there is a something called VB scripting there, and that is very different from the language which is used for QTP. So there's a whole set of different languages over there. So I've used all of this. Now because of working on these different types of different languages, right, it has its own. I mean, it's a comfort that you know all these languages, but it's a big problem also because sometimes you start mixing a lot of things, and that is where the problem starts coming, right? So you might see me facing that issue, right, sometimes. So, but I will try my best to not, I mean, get confused into different things over here. But yeah, because currently I'm working on shell scripting on my project work, and I'm using JS here, and I'm also teaching Java. So, so that it's the three different things over here, right? Okay, great. So again, this is an editor here, right? Let me just complete. Let me just show you very quickly. I ran all that right till now. Let me just create one file. Let me create one file over here, a new file. We'll talk about VS Code tomorrow, but I just want to show one execution. So we'll say hello world again, hello world.js. Okay, .js file. You can see a file over here, and let me write the same thing. Let name equals to Akhil, and we'll say console.log name here, right? How do you run this? Just save the file. You can go to terminal, or you can see this Windows here, right? Just make it up. This is the terminal here, right? And you're currently on this folder, fs WebDriver JS dummy, right? And this is the part. What I will do here is I will just say node. This is the directory I'm currently on, right? So I'm saying node, and I'm saying hello world.js. And you can see, right, it prints Akhil, right? It was able to do the execution. So again, but who is doing the execution? Node, right? That Node.js environment. But it just, I'm not using a notepad or a text editor. I'm using this code editor, which is with the name of Visual Studio Code. And this is what we are going to use. We are going to create frameworks using this editor only, right? So these are the two vital things which you need on your system, Node.js and this one. Okay, why this is striked out? Name is deprecated. The declaration was marked as deprecated here. So you cannot use name here, okay? Let me use first name. Again, right, we have not talked about a lot of things. So I'll think I cannot give you an answer right now. So I'll give you the answer on this, right? Why is that thing? And you will be able to understand that part in the coming time, right? But you can see, right, now it is not striked out. Okay. So if I run it again, okay, it works. Okay, I think we are good for today, right? I hope I was able to explain some of the power of JS, right? In when it comes to web automation and the web applications. And to start our work, right, we needed these two things, Node.js and the Visual Studio Code, which we have done. Okay. So from tomorrow, we'll start from the very scratch of JavaScript and start working on it. Anyone has any queries or something to ask as of now? No?
Yeah, yeah, Akhil. So Visual Studio is license based or
It's free, right?
directly
It's open source. It's open source.
okay?
There are two things, right? There is a Visual Studio Code and there's a Visual Studio Code editor, right? I think when you say about Visual Studio Code, I think I have no understanding of C# or .NET framework, but what I know is like they also have a similar kind of a name for that ID which they use, and I am not sure whether that's paid or not. But again, that is not what we are using here. It's an editor, and it comes and the full name is Visual Studio Code Editor here, right? And everyone should download that only. Okay,
Yeah,
we do not.
the .NET one uses the Visual Studio, and we are using Visual Studio Code.
Editor.
Yeah.
Right? Code editor, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
everyone?
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Harika, please.
I feel like I have downloaded the Visual Studio Code along with the Node.js, but in the Explorer tab, I don't see the Node modules extension.
You will not see, right? You will not see all of this.
No.
This was like my own folder, right, which I
Okay.
already had in place. I just created this file. If you have created this file, you should see that file.
Okay, got it.
You will not see any of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Akhil, quick question.
Yeah, please.
So the way we will be working is we will be like scripting using the Visual Studio Code, but to see the changes in or like the script execution, we will be working with terminal or command prompt or something like that.
We will be using only the Visual Studio Code. Okay. Whatever you will type here, right, you will be executing it through this terminal here, which is a part of this Visual Studio Code only.
Okay. How did you open this terminal? Yeah.
Okay. What you can do is what you will see is normally you will see it in here only, right? So there is nothing which you have to do. You will see it here. Otherwise, if you're not seeing, right, let me close it. If I'm not seeing this, right, like this, you have to go terminal here, right, and click on new terminal.
Okay.
And this will open up.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. And make sure the directory is the same directory where you trying to place your file. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens is you create a folder within the folder and you open the parent folder here, right? And you try to run the files. Make sure that you are on that folder where your JS file is residing. Currently, this is the folder where my JS file is residing, right? You can see directly inside this folder. Okay. You will learn it eventually. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No worries. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Harika, I think you have asked a query, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I think we are good for today. Let's meet tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll start from the very basics of JavaScript. But please make sure that you have installed Node.js and Visual Studio Code Editor right on your machine. Okay. And try to explore the things right which I did today on the browser. And if you have any queries, come back. We'll take up the queries first. Right. That is how we proceed. We spend some time on queries right in the beginning of the session, and then I'll proceed with whatever I have to cover. Okay, thank you so much for today, right? And again, welcome to Podtest. I am very happy to have you all here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akhil. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.